So unless you've been living under a rock, you most likely are aware that NFTs have really been all the rage lately, from people boasting about how much money they made from buying, selling, and flipping NFTs, and also just listing them their own NFTs on marketplaces like OpenSea. And on top of that, there are even opportunities like these where people are literally generating NFTs very easily, and I'll show you how, and selling them for hundreds if not thousands of dollars. And in my quest to discover how to make money and invest in this new trend, I've actually come across quite a few so-called industry secrets, including easy ways to again generate these NFTs to sell, and also other ways to make money with them, and I also share with you my personal plans moving forward. Before I begin though, I would absolutely appreciate it if you could just gently smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm, and also consider subscribing to my channel for more cutting edge videos about making money online and digital entrepreneurship just like this one. Plus, you can check out my investing channel as well. And with that, let's get started with the video. So first of all, what is sort of at the center of most NFT opportunities and how people would actually make money with them is through these marketplaces such as OpenSea, on which people can buy and sell and potentially flip NFTs. However, it's not necessarily the easiest to get involved with, especially if you're not sort of like a celebrity or an artist, or if you have the money to actually sell on OpenSea, because it actually does cost people money to actually list their NFT artwork on the platform.
Of course!
By the way, if you're not very familiar with what NFTs are or platforms like OpenSea, I actually did another video previously, which is this video right here on my channel. That'll teach you all about how to buy, sell, and create your own NFTs and put them up on, say, OpenSea, and also some other ways to sort of supplement your sort of crypto or NFT income with just some small bits of free sort of giveaway cryptos here and there. And those are completely legit, by the way, and I personally use them. So you can definitely check out this video right here for sort of an introduction to all this sort of NFT stuff. But in today's video, I'm actually going to go through sort of a slightly advanced yet still quite easy way to essentially help you generate NFTs, right? Because as you can see, for example, on OpenSea right here, if you look at a lot of different projects, it's essentially just one avatar or one character that have a lot of different accessories that are mixed and matched or swapped out, right? And so if I just scroll through this, this category, or this collection rather, is called Soccer Doge Club, and you'll find obviously a lot of other ones. And if I just scroll through, they're largely very similar images. Some of them even have the same accessories, but there's actually a very easy way to sort of automate or just have a bunch of accessories sort of swap out on their own and help you generate, you know, thousands if not tens of thousands of NFTs to potentially, you know, put up for sale if you really want to, and actually pay that gas fee, because that's actually a requirement for OpenSea. But there are also other ways to sort of capitalize and make money from this as well. And the very first step in creating these types of NFTs is to actually make certain accessories for your NFTs to be able to mix and match them, right? And to do so, you can use really any sort of art or graphics editor platform that you prefer, like Adobe Photoshop would work, or you can use this completely free platform called MyPaint, and I'll link it down below, and you can just download it and it'll be quite enough for you to create these types of graphics as well. And before you dive into MyPaint, you first want to consider what exact type of artwork NFT you want to create, right? And for the most part, people will have a single avatar, such as the dog I showed you earlier, which is like right here. And what people do is they'll have the single character sort of base, and then they'll actually swap out a lot of different things with that image, right? Like the colors, even the background color, and different accessories and so on and so forth. So first of all, it's important to have that base character, and the accessory stuff is usually going to be a lot easier for you to design yourself. But for the character itself, if you're not an artist, it can be a bit more of a challenge, although you could definitely get creative and sort of find some inspiration perhaps to base your designs off of. But anyhow, what you can actually do is you can also consider looking at certain royalty-free images, although I don't necessarily recommend it because it's not going to be unique. Although royalty-free images does mean you can use them sort of commercially, right? So just as an example, I've grabbed this banana person or this banana character from Pixabay, which is indeed a royalty-free image website. And besides this, you can also look for things like accessories from websites like, oh, okay, here we have a website where we have other avatars potentially, but you just have to be careful of the licenses. Some of them don't necessarily allow you to use their images for sort of commercial purposes, so you have to be very careful. But you can also look for other, accessory images from, say, websites like this one, which is SVG-SILH. You'll find tons of different types of accessories you can potentially use to mix and match to create different NFTs with. Or I would definitely recommend, if you're an artist, design your own, or even commission somebody else to do it for you. Say on Fiverr.com, you can pay somebody like a pretty low fee, such as $10 to $15 or even $5 to create your base character, and then you can use that character for tens of thousands of, I'll show you how, but you can use that single character design and just swap out different accessories and generate hundreds, thousands, if not tens of thousands of designs just based on that one character. And with that, after booting up MyPaint, the very first thing you want to do is to load in your base character design or whatever base design you want to do, and whether it be you want to design your own or pay somebody a small fee to make one for you, or if you can find a decent royalty-free image like the one I have here, although I wouldn't call this that great. But anyhow, as an example, what you want to actually do is to go over to the layer tab at the top. Check this first option, that's this layers panel, and you'll see on the far right it'll pop this thing will pop out where you can actually specify different layers or add different layers to your image, right? And so you can have multiple images on each layer, and you can for example, if I just enable or show you my other layer, I have like a halo drawn for my avatar, right? So that would be 2 different layers. Okay, so my original layer is my character, so that layer would just be the character, and then my layer 1 would be the the first accessory, like the headpiece, for example, right? And so for each layer 1, you can just use or reserve layer 1 for headpieces, and layer 0, or just I call it layer right here, can just be reserved for the base character, and you can also have different colors for it, for example. And by the way, to draw stuff on MyPaint, there are actually a few different tools that you can use on the top here. For example, we have a circle tool for like rounded shapes, like the halo I made. Let me just delete this real quick. And you also have things like paint brushes and so on and so forth. You can obviously change the color of them. And also on the far right, you'll be able to see the different types of paint brushes and essentially sort of drawing styles that you can use, right? So you can have this type of look, or I can change it up and draw it, with different types of sort of paint brushes, right, that they have here. So there is quite a bit of sort of customizability with MyPaint, or alternatively, and a potentially easier way, especially if you're not an artist like myself, is to just do a quick flip using Fiverr, right? So first of all, let me actually do some quick maths for you. So if we just look back to Fiverr, and with some of these really profitable gigs and newer gigs, which if you can sort of be, by the way, one of the first people to capitalize on a trend like the NFT trend, and there actually is a specific NFT category on Fiverr itself, so they're also catching on to it. But again, some of these people, and you can see that this person has 2 orders in queue, and they already have at least 4 orders that they've already done, meaning that they've already made potentially thousands of dollars just by doing this something similar, or this similar strategy. And if you just look at the types of bundles they have, for standard, for example, they're giving out 1,000, or they're providing 1,000 high resolution unique NFTs, and for premium is 10,000, which sounds like a ton, right? And hence, people would think, because it's a lot of work, people would assume it's a lot of work, and they would be willing to pay this amount of money for it. However, contrary to that belief, it's actually not that difficult at all to create even 10,000 high-res or 10,000 unique NFTs, because if you have, just by using the power of mixing and matching and having multiple layers. So let me just show you some quick maths, right? So for example, right now I have 2 layers on my NFT, right? Let's say I make it 5 different layers, right? Or even 10 different layers. Let's do 5 layers for now, right? So 5 different layers, and each layer can be, for example, my main layer can just be my avatar, right? I can also change the color of that, so they can have that itself can have variation. For my headdress, I can obviously change up the headpiece as well for layer 1. And for layer 2, for example, I could do something like glasses, or like sunglasses, or whatever it is, and even different color, different tinted glasses, for example, and so on and so forth, right? So just to do that quick maths, if say I had 5 layers, right, and if I had, let's say, 5 different designs for each layer, that's actually just 5 times 5, which is 25 different images that I would need to create. Or again, I could pay somebody a small fee to create for me on, say, Fiverr, right? So, but with just these 25 images, I'm able to combine, and mix and match them to create tons of different unique designs. So let me just show you the math. So it's 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 with 5 layers, right? And 5 unique design or images for each. This will actually give me 3,125 unique images or unique combinations just from these 25 images alone, right? If say I change this up to let's increase it to 7 different images for each. Let's try it out. So let's do 7 times 7 times 7 times 7. That would actually equal well over 10,000, right? So you can literally just have something like you don't even have to have that many layers. You can have, let's say, 10 different items for each layer, and for this you would only need 4 layers, right? Which could, may or may not be easier for you. So let's do this. So let's do 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. This actually equals exactly 10,000, right? So for this, you would actually just need 40 different images to generate 10,000 designs, which isn't bad at all, right? Considering the amount of money one can potentially earn, albeit this is sort of a newer trend and there's not as much competition with this just yet, as people are still figuring it out, as I've been figuring it out. But with this opportunity, this person alone has been able to make quite a lot of money. And even if you pay somebody else to create some of these images individually for you on Fiverr, most of them can be pretty cheap, and you can just, so what you can do is sort of do a flip with Fiverr alone, right? Just bundle together a bunch of these images, use My Paint to create different layers for them and just save them as individual layers. And then for the next software, you can actually use that to generate your thousands, if not tens of thousands of designs, and I'll show you exactly how you can do so. And so now that I've gone over how to create designs and even layers for your NFTs, it's time to move on to another software to help you actually generate these different combinations of images as your NFTs, right? So for that, you want to actually download, let's see, 3 different things, and they're not going to harm your computer, so don't worry about that. But basically you want to download this, again, free software called Visual Studio Code. It's basically like a programming type software. That's all you really have to know, but you can use it to sort of execute different commands with your PC, right? And that's exactly what you're going to do with it. So you want to download Visual Studio Code, as well as this website, which is GitHub, which actually hosts like this specific code. So this is actually a specific code that you can use with Visual Studio, and so you don't have to write your own code, right? Just download theirs. This person is very kind to have provided it. I think this person's name is Hashlips, the user Hashlips, and I'll include any of these links or all of these links below, right? So Hashlips has kindly provided this code, which you can just click on this button here to download it as zip. So you want to download the entire code and then unzip it to whatever folder on your computer. And lastly, the third thing to download is this one here called node.js, which will help you basically run stuff with Visual Studio Code, right? So anyway, you just have to download this as well. So it's just 3 different links. You have Node.js, and then this set of code from GitHub, which you'll use with Visual Studio Code, which is the final thing you have to download, and this is the software that you'll be using. So starting from here, things might be getting a little bit complicated, but I'll try to make it as simple as possible, although that may not also cover all the bases. And for that, I'll actually link up a great, more in-depth tutorial for this by a user called Hustle Millennial. This is where I actually learned a lot of this stuff. So I'll link his video down below if you're interested in seeing the sort of more in-depth tutorial for how to use this software. But essentially what you need to do is, and I'll give you some of the basic steps, is once you've opened up Visual Studio Code, it won't look like this, but after you open up Visual Studio Code, you want to go straight to File on the top left, all right? And then you want to actually open folder, okay? After you click on open folder, you want to find that folder you downloaded from GitHub, which is, if I just go back, it's this link here. So again, code, download zip, unzip the contents, and it'll be a folder, right? So on this software, you want to actually find that folder you unzipped. So you can just select the folder and then click on select folder, and it'll open up all the stuff for you, right? Basically all the code has already been done for you. And just to give you a quick glimpse of what it's capable of, Essentially, these are sort of automated images it's generated. So sort of the default images that it has are these different types of eyes, right? So just by using this software, I'm able to generate these different randomized eyes, and I can even make it do multiple more eyes as well, right? Given the different types of combination that it has, right? So for example, if I open up layers here, it's essentially all the different layers that we were discussing on with MyPaint, right? So but this is basically just for eyes. For now, you can definitely replace any of these images with your own, right? Just by going into the folder, the actual folder for this, which is the generative art node folder again, right? And you can just change up any of the images within that folder with your own sort of avatar and accessories and so on and so forth, right? Just to show you what they have though, they have these different images for eyes, and they have several layers at that, quite a few layers at that, and so it's able to generate all these different sort of eye designs by default. So essentially what you have to do first to incorporate different layers and different assets for each layer is to go into, again, the folder that you downloaded, click on layers, and then you can just customize each one. You can even change the names as well. So as you can see here, again, these are mostly for their eyeballs, right? They have different colors and so on and so forth, and you can just replace these with whatever your character has as well, right? So each of these folders, you can just change them all out. And then besides that, on the software itself, the code you don't have to worry about at all. You just have to go to, if anything, the only thing is just the config file right here. You can change some of the settings, you can change the sort of dimensions, the rarity. I'll link up the tutorial below for you to check out how to do that exactly. And then you can also specify how many designs to generate, right? So depending on the number of combinations you have, you can generate, you know, however many you need for, you know, if you want to list them yourself or to sell on Fiverr and so on and so forth, right? Previously, I just had it set at 5 to test it out, and just by setting the setting to, you know, 5 designs, I was able to generate these 5 different ones, although it is currently capable of generating a lot more. And especially if you add more accessories in, you'll be able to generate a whole bunch more, right? And this software, even though it looks intimidating, is actually quite easy to use. All you really have to worry about is the config file here. So you want to open up src and then config, and here you can actually customize different things about how you want your images to be generated and how many images you want to generate right down here. And but first though, in order to start using the software, you actually have to run a couple of commands just for your first run through, which can be done by going to terminal up here and then selecting new terminal, on which you have to type in a couple of lines. Just copy the tutorial I showed you. So if you just go over to about 6 or 7 minutes of this video that I'll link below, it'll show you which codes or lines of code to type in, right? So, well, actually, I'll just tell you right now, the first one is npm install for your first run of the software. You want to type in the terminal, you want to type in npm install, and then the next thing you want to type in is npm install truffle-g. All right, again, this video itself will be a lot more clear on all that stuff, so I do highly suggest you watch it if you wanted to do, you know, if you really wanted to do this type of stuff, right? Now, when it comes to making money with these NFTs, I do believe the Fiverr route can be pretty decent, especially if you're able to get some of these higher prices that people are charging right now. This may not last forever, but because this is a very new and sort of really trendy niche, there's a lot of money to be made in it right now, but this could change as you get more competitors on Fiverr. But there's also less of a risk for yourself because you don't necessarily have to list your own NFTs for sale on OpenSea, right? Which you can still consider doing, but the thing with OpenSea is that if it's your first listing, you do have to pay a gas fee, which can make it sometimes not really worth it to list products on OpenSea. And the thing with NFTs and the difference between them and just like normal, you know, images and artwork, say for print on demand, is that NFTs, because they have to be registered on the blockchain, you have to also, you know, it actually costs energy to create these NFTs, right? Which means you do have to spend a bit of money to upload them, at least for your first listing. For your subsequent ones, I believe you only have to pay the minting fee after you make a sale, right? So it'll just be a cut off of whatever, you know, price, sale price you have on each NFT. And alternatively, and this is the method that I personally like using, and you can again check out my latest video, or my previous video rather, on, you know, these NFTs and OpenSea, how to set things up, and some bonus ways to, you know, make additional money with NFTs and crypto. Real quick though, personally, I'm investing in the Ethereum token, or the Ethereum cryptocurrency, as most, if not all, or the vast majority rather, of NFTs are being built on the Ethereum network, which means if NFTs see more application and integration and use, Ethereum as a platform and the token could definitely see appreciation in price, right? And there's also some ways to earn some additional, high interest and things like Ethereum staking that you can look into as well. And so if you're interested in any of that stuff and my personal strategies, you can check out this video as well. And this, by the way, this video also shows you how to use, how to set up things on OpenSea and a wallet for that, and all that stuff to get started if you just want to buy NFTs, for example. And that is pretty much all I want to show you in today's video, but there's actually a ton of other NFT related stuff that I wanted to talk about, but that'll be saved for my next video instead. So with that, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.